Hookup Academy.
I know you want it, you looking for it. I know who got it. She talk about it in every EP, leave you don't nobody ever be on what she be on. This is LOL with Kiki Simone. You hear that? Life out loud.
Did you miss me?
What up, everybody? What's up?
Yo, dude, how y'all doing out there?
How you doing out there?
So good.
You so good. Who we got today? We got B1 in the building today.
Yeah, you got me today. You know what I'm saying?
What's up?
Man, look,
Well, go ahead.
It is such a blessing to be here.
It is.
Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever. Forever. Well, what we have here, welcome to the Life Out Loud podcast.
Life out loud.
Life Out Loud. Boom. With Kiki, Simone, and friend, we have a B Wonder, Boy Wonder, here with us today.
I am practicing just in case if they make a Black Panther 2.
Oh. I think that they are.
It seems like they are.
They are going to make a Black Panther 2.
This is going to be interesting.
Yes. And while you wait on that, they are going to listen. Our podcast listeners are going to listen to Life Out Loud with Kiki Simone.
Yes.
Yes, they are. Aren't you? Yes, you are.
Yes.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Life Out Loud podcast with Kiki
LOL.
Simone and friend. I got my boy B Wonder, my wonderful and delightful co-host, who has been the host with the most, and he's for sure my bro.
Listen,
and
my anthem is like Maya Angelou. Still I rise.
Still you rise. That's what's up. I'm glad that you rising. We all rising together. So what we want to do on this podcast, we want to talk about the Life Out Loud podcast itself, where we talk about real life issues. We have different perspectives. We talk about real solutions. How do we navigate in this thing called life? That's what we talk about on this podcast.
Exactly.
I love it.
Because there's a lot of ways we can go here.
Yes, it's so many things we can talk about, and you will get it right here on the podcast.
Exclusively.
Yes, exclusively. We hope that you are subscribed to the podcast. Don't forget to hit that YouTube subscribe button.
Please.
Boop. Go ahead and subscribe right now if
Please.
you haven't. Listen, like, and subscribe today. Thank you so very much. So we got a really good topic today.
We do.
But before we get into that topic, I got to ask you a question real quick.
Okay, what to do?
B-Wonder.
What to do?
What does failure look like to you?
Oh, man. Giving your very best shot, and it still came up short.
Giving them your best shot, and you still came up short.
Listen, you felt like you came through like MJ, but you walked off like who done it? Just like third bench string.
Wow.
Yeah,
Not the third.
bad.
Not the third.
Third. And I wasn't even second. Man, failure, oh my God. Failure helps you to identify with a lot of things that weren't there before, especially if you were a type of individual that was used to winning all the time. And
True.
when that failure hits, it hits hard. It really does. It hits harder to the one who have yet to experience like true failure versus someone who's just like, God dog it, can I just get one? You know what I'm saying? Can I get one win? You know?
Yeah, just one. Just give me one.
You start to go Nas mode for a minute. But failure to me, it also is a great thing because it shaped other things in me that caused me to work twice as hard to get to the next level to make sure that, okay, I'm getting closer and closer to where I'm trying to go and where I'm trying to be. So if I failed, what did I do wrong? Let me analyze this. Let me study this. And let me add with what I already got that is good that I don't have to touch. But what else do I need to tweak?
Okay.
So failure,
I can see that.
It really helps you to identify with things that weren't there before.
Okay. Definitely I can relate to that because sometimes I've been in that spot where I'm just like, please, can I just get one win? Please. Like, I whatever.
Can I get half of that? Can I get a half
Can I
of
get
W?
one rib?
Can I get 2 V's?
Remember Chris Rock when he said that in New Jack City? One rib.
One rib.
Can I get one rib? Just one.
Oh my God, he had me crying laughing in that movie.
He did. I would say what does failure mean to me is not trying. Like if you never try, you have already failed.
That's
because you're not trying. And
at all.
You will never win at anything if you don't put that first foot forward. So I think that that's what failure looks like when you've already been defeated in the mind not to even make any type of action or any kind of step towards what it is that you want or what you need.
And that's where it starts, in the mind.
It does.
It really do. Because it's just like it has to go from the mind and then it has to go down to the paper and write it down, map it out.
Yep.
And then now you got to put action into it.
This is true. This question really kind of coincides with our pink elephant of the day.
Listen, man, I'm getting tired of falling, okay? You tell them, be easy.
The herd coming.
The herd coming.
The herd gonna come real early today. The herd is gonna come really early today. Are you ready?
We not in Cali.
Because we ready for this pink elephant. I'm ready for this pink elephant.
All these aftershocks.
Did it hurt you today?
No, it ain't hurt me today. I was ready for it.
What's up, y'all, for our pink elephant, which is our topic of the day for any of those who are just now listening. Our pink elephant is the topic of the day, and it's what we talk about in regards to what people like to sweep under the rug or things that people like to just kind of not talk about, the things that people like to just say, it's the elephant in the room, the stuff that goes unaddressed.
Right.
Well, we gonna address it here
Today.
because we like to talk about the stuff that people don't like to talk about, especially concerning themselves.
Yes, we love for you guys to be free.
Yes.
Like, off the rip.
It's cool to talk about things that that you're not a part of, but to navigate through life, like we need to sometimes just really deal with self. And that's what we like to talk about, those unaddressed issues when it's coming down to ourselves. So really, this week's pink elephant is called processing the process.
Ooh. I'm doing that right now as we speak in my life.
Me too. I'm like really speaking. Y'all remember we talk about that we haven't arrived, that we are still going through whatever it is that we're talking about. We may have had, a little bit more experience in some things that we talk about, and some things we're actually still in the process of. And right now we're in the process of our process, whatever that process is. You could have a process in your life where it could be regarding work. It could be around relationships. It could be around, you just dealing with yourself or with your kids or whatever the process is. We got you covered today.
Yes.
We definitely got you covered today. Grandma Pudding then came back.
We got you covered.
What hymn number was that? You remember them hymn books in church? What? They turn to hymn number 695.
Yes, 123 in its states.
Oh my goodness. So anywho, getting on with our pink elephant for processing the process. Sometimes, life can really be difficult and it could be confusing at times. And sometimes the process is really the scariest part of really getting through something. So not knowing that outcome can sometimes...
It's fear in itself.
Yes, it's fear. It can cause you some anxiety. It can cause you to get out of character. And it could cause health issues too if you're not careful, right? So
said a mouthful there.
We don't want to be stagnant. We want to grow. And so today, as we talk about processing the process, we want to help and encourage yourselves as well as us. Because like we said, we're going through processes too. We want to encourage all of us to be able to get through our process. But there could be places that we can identify that we're going to talk about today that might stunt us from going through those processes.
learning.
And learning, growing from them, understanding, getting the lesson out of something. So we want to talk about that today. So
yes.
B Wonder,
what's going on?
What happens when you go against the grain, or when somebody fights the process? We even gonna say you, for example. Ooh. What happens when you don't want to go through your process? What happens?
Look here, a lot more happens than what initiated. what was then initiated before. A lot more happens.
True.
Because I look at going through the process as an opportunity to learn myself more. To really be like, do I really want what I'm disappointed from? I also look at it as responsibility and growing in a manner that if I go through this again, I come out stronger and better and wiser and more knowledgeable.
Right.
So
right.
It doesn't escape the pain, but you know how to deal with the pain in a sense once you kind of get a little insight of how to navigate.
Okay. Okay.
One of the things that I allow myself to do is to sit in it and feel it. I don't stay there too long, but I'll be realistic about how I'm feeling, the emotions, what I'm going through, if I'm getting mentally tormented. Like, I'll be so genuine, authentically real with the situation that I have no choice but to grow from it.
Right.
I have no choice but to make it through. I see it through. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Grandma just came out of nowhere.
So it's just like, and like you say, a person that doesn't allow themselves to see, be aware, and be insightful of what's going on around, they start to do other things, like you say, lash out. They'll start to deflect. They'll start to delay, deny, and you miss the opportunity to see what God is trying to show you through this process.
Right.
Because I don't want to. I'm one that I don't like to repeat tests and come back around and keep feeling the same thing.
I feel you on that
over and over. Like, no,
yes,
Lord, no. We finna pass
with an A.
Capital P, capital A, S,
right.
S. We pass.
We passing it.
Okay, and so for me, even I'm still in this process. I'm still processing it.
I have multiple processes going on now.
I do. and the thing about it is that the best thing you can do is not rush God through what he's trying to show you. Do not rush through the process, because you're going to miss something very important and valuable.
That's good.
So
That's
please just sit in it. Not to where it becomes depressive, and not to where it makes you not even function in life. But just be real with yourself. Be realistic in how you're feeling, where you are, and understand, okay, if I'm feeling like this, if I'm in this place, what can I do? Who can I reach out to? Reach out to people you can confide in, that it's not going to go between you two.
Right.
If you don't have that person, who is the next person that's kind of similar to that you can trust? Right. Because again, we don't walk through this by ourselves.
This is true.
We can't.
No, we can't walk through our processes alone. I would 100% agree with that. And I would definitely say, if a person is fighting the process, it's only going to take longer to get through it. And yes. I'm reminded of, I know we talk about practical stuff, right?
Right.
And even with us talking about things that are practical, I'm still thinking of the word. I can never get this out of my head. It took the children of Israel 40 years to get through an 11-day process. 40 years versus 11 days.
That's 40?
Exactly, 40. And so
that's years?
That's a process. Just because they didn't want to go through the process. And I start thinking about that when it comes to my processes. I've begun to start thinking of it that way of, I don't want to be them. Like, I don't want to be them in my process. And that's what really kind of helps me kind of get through to say, hey, Lakita, you got to some things you just got to accept and accept where you are. Not necessarily accept an outcome, but accept where you are right now.
Exactly.
And when
That's
you
the difference.
and when you don't, because when you accept where you are right now, it helps you to be able to navigate, to function daily, to be able to, do what you need to do throughout the day. Because some people, like you said, if you just sit in it, like, you won't grow.
And listen, and also sitting in it means also crying, yelling, screaming, whatever you got to do to get all this frustration and anxiety off. All of those things, but still making progress, still taking baby steps, still moving. You can slow down, but just don't stop.
Yeah, don't stop.
Don't stop.
And your process doesn't have to look like somebody else's process.
Exactly.
I think that's something many times that we end up getting confused, because somebody will say, well, I went through the same thing and this is what I did. And then you think that your process has to look exactly like theirs and be like, okay, well, I did everything that they did. How come, my situation hasn't changed, or, whatever it is. And
timing.
Yes.
Because one of the biggest mistakes that we make when we do comparison is, well, how is it that they came out quicker than I did? But you don't even know when they actually went in.
Right.
You don't know the gist, the ins and outs. They only told you what to do, how to do it. But the timing of the process, you can't rush it. You
That's
can't
true.
assume that it's going to take this amount of time and you're going to be good, because what's going to happen, something else is going to trigger that, and it's going to even get you into a deeper space and a deeper depth than you planned on being in the first place, because you didn't allow yourself to heal.
I heard, this kind of funny to me, I heard somebody say, God ain't never early, but he is on time. And so we be wanting God to be early and, take care of stuff in advance.
Right now.
But he really be on time when it comes to, the things that we really need. He know when it's time for him to step in. We just think that his time should be different. So that's why they said God don't be early.
Listen, I'm trying to tell you, God's timeline is not our deadline.
It's so true. This is very true. Very true.
We're not on his time.
Now,
in the sense of the way we think.
True. Now, today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about, processing the process. And we referenced, there is a site that's called the Community Tool, in which we did a little bit of research in regards to this particular topic.
True.
And we were trying to find out, the things that people do when they don't want to go through the process. And I know that as, coming across this information, I sure enough saw myself in here. I saw myself in here. And we're going to talk about, what happens when you buck the process, when you just don't want to follow the process. What could happen? And then what are some ways that you can kind of counteract that?
Yes.
Because we don't want you to stay in where you at. We don't want us to stay where we at.
No.
Because I know I know I'm still in some of these.
And look, for real, and it's by God's grace.
Yes.
I promise you it is.
That this is for us, y'all. This is for everybody. This ain't just for the people that's talking. We have not arrived.
Exactly.
So here are some things that we're gonna talk to you about today. For those people who have bucked the process, this is what happens. People tend to do these things. They tend to deflect, the situation at hand. They want to delay it. They want to deny that it's even happening.
Nah, they didn't do that, did they?
They want to discount it as if it really don't really mean anything.
Exactly.
Deceive. They want to deceive the process and really just have a thought that, hey, this is really not what I'm really going through. They deceive themselves thinking that this is what I'm not going through.
I'm good. 2-letter words. That is very key to let you know, no, you ain't good.
I was about to say something, but that might have been wrong. So I'm going to keep my mouth shut. It wasn't in regards to you though, brother.
Oh, we good.
People like to dulcify. They like to really kind of avoid the topic. They just don't want to talk about it. They just avoid it.
That's the deflective move right there too, Steve.
Yes.
It's like, so how you doing, man? You good? You straight? And they try to give advice on what they going through.
This is true. They just want to completely just like, hey, we gonna talk about something else.
Null and void.
Divide. They want to divide the situation up and not really deal with it as a whole.
Exactly.
People also discredit. They don't even want to just even say that it even that the situation means anything to them. And really it does. People do that very well.
And it does. And your feelings will validate that moment.
This is so true. They want to destroy the process because they hate the process. They don't want to go through it. So they're just, oh my gosh, I can't stand this process. And I got a little thing I want to talk about that too.
Okay.
And then deal with the process. Some people just don't want to deal with it. But they have the ability to deal with it. So that's what we're going to talk about today. If you see yourself or have heard yourself in any of the things that we just stated, deflect, delay, deny, discount, deceive, dulcify, divide, discredit, destroy, or deal, if you heard yourself in any of the processes, it could be anything that you're going through right now, this podcast definitely is for you. Or if not for you, you might know somebody, that might need to listen to it as well. So we're going to talk about what are the benefits of actually embracing the process that you have to go through. And I think that this is on time for me right now.
Glory.
This is on time for me. Like I said, I'm going through several processes all at one time, and you can't handle every process the same.
Exactly.
You can't. So like one thing that you're going through right now, where it might take, 2-3 years to get through the process, whereas another process, it could have a totally different time, have different timing.
You just never know.
Heck, it could be a week. God can do anything suddenly, right?
And suddenly,
okay,
a touch from heaven.
Okay, Grandma. But your processes can be totally different. So you can't we're not trying to make a blanket statement to say that this is for every single process that like you handle everything in the same way. We want to talk about how you can embrace not doing the bad stuff. And so when
just gonna bring more
it is
turmoil.
It is because when you buck the system at any process, it's just not good for you at all. Now you might get more lessons out of it of what not to do. But why go through extra stuff that you don't have to?
Which brings more stress, more anxiety, more pain, more heartache, more everything that you don't need.
This is true. So for the individuals that like to deflect or delay the process.
The Heisman.
Yes, you doing that little Heisman move.
Stiff arm.
The stiff arm.
Getting too close, brother.
What you got to do is be persistent. If you feel that you got to address whatever the issue is that may need to be thrown out, do so. But don't spend too much time on it. Always bring the focus back to your primary issue. Exactly. Don't allow people or even don't allow yourself to deflect the issue. Don't throw it away. Don't delay it. If it's going to help you get to a better place, like you've got to begin to deal with the issue itself. Stop deflecting. And I think that a lot of people end up deflecting issues, which causes a delay because you're deflecting it. You keep like pushing it over, pushing it to the side. And that kind of goes with something that I have posted about. I thought about it. It was about procrastination. And in that particular post, and I've got to be able to pull that up, but it talked about procrastination and how we arrogantly assume that God is going to give us more time. So as we're deflecting situations in our lives, all we're doing is procrastinating because we're not wanting to deal with something in particular.
Exactly.
So we got to stop deflecting the situation because it's only delaying the process. It's drawing it out, and we just got to deal with it. So have you ever deflected?
Have I?
Have you?
Is Jesus on the throne?
Oh, well, I would say yes.
Listen, I've done all of them.
You've done all of them?
I delayed, denied, discredit, deceived.
All of it? Just all of them.
All of them.
All of them. Listen,
Alex, I'm guilty. I plead the fifth. I take a plea bargain.
We got to just make sure that we are not pushing something over to the side if it's a process we need to go through, like that we're not pushing it to the side so that we can go ahead and get through that process.
Exactly. And I've been through that because it's really something I didn't want to deal with. I really didn't want to take it head on. I'm just like, yo, this is for the birds. You seen that bird nest with the meme? It's like, oh my God. It's like, so how you feel about a certain situation, they be like, man, that's for the birds. And then they be like, well, I guess I'm a bird. And then they'll put a meme of themselves sitting in a nest. It's just crazy. Social media.
Okay, wins every time.
Yes, there's been time where I deflected. There's been time where I delayed, denied, and it really didn't help me out.
It didn't.
It prolonged the process. Then
exactly. Another or a response, should I say, to denying the fact that the problem or the process is even there, right? And discounting when someone tries to tell you that the problem isn't real or that it's really not important to you, you got to be prepared to just say, this is really significant to me. This is, I can't deny it. So like you could go through something, and I'll give myself as an example. I was going through a situation and my homegirls was like, oh, girl, don't even worry about that. You good. Don't even worry about that person. And I'm like, how is that helping me? That's like you got somebody that cares about you that's just like, girl, go ahead with your life. Go do whatever, you know what I'm saying? And they're discrediting how important that situation is. And what we have to do is be able to, like you said, go ahead and confront the situation, but we also have to make sure that we deal with it, right?
And I understood where they were coming from, but it was at the wrong time.
Yes.
Like it has to be a certain level of height in the situation that can really be justified. Like, okay, no, you're putting too much time on this. Move on, keep it moving,
Right.
But in the midst of when it's fresh, when it's open wound, we gotta talk it out because you have yet to understand why I feel the way I feel.
Right.
You just quit to dismiss and cut off and be on by the business.
And that has happened because I've been, and I'm gonna use this as an example. This has happened with me, like talking to different people, and there have been times where some of my girlfriends have been like, you don't need him. Like, you don't need him at all. Like, girl, go ahead, do your thing. And in the moment, it's like, do you care about how I feel and what connection I felt that I had to this individual? And like you said, it's the timing. But, you know, your people can care. Your people can care about you as an individual, but still don't know when to say what it is that they need to say. Yeah. And so that has happened to me so many times.
And it comes from not being in tune, and it comes from, and you're not intentionally trying to be dismissive. You're trying to be so-called a good friend. And I get it. I understand where you're coming from, but a real friend would be like, okay, well, what happened? Okay, well, what caused this to happen?
Right.
What was the breakdown?
Right.
Like, is this more than once? Is this something that was continuous? Like, they'll go deeper with you in layers and try to understand and try to help you figure out a solution to what's going on, how you feeling. Like, even another friend of mine, I reached out to, I kind of noticed, I was like, I ain't heard from him in a couple of days. Usually they text me and let me know, hey, I'm good, just been busy, crazy. None of that. I was like, okay, something going on. What's going on with you? Okay, yeah, I felt that because I was just like, this ain't
something
like
ain't
you
right.
Not to respond. Okay, what's going on?
Right.
And I'm the type of person, I would literally bug you until you tell me. And I only say this because I know you don't have that many people that you consider genuine and really care about trying to help you and diffuse the situation, trying to figure out what's going on.
Right.
I'm that guy. I'm like, yo, and I know when to back off. I know when not to be too.
Right.
Okay, he'll tell me later.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'll just leave it at that because it's just like, okay, well, I can't do any more, than what you allowed me to.
But you still gotta, like, as that individual dealing with the issue, you can't deny that there's an issue there, and the people around you can't deny that there's not an issue there too. And that's what's important. That is also important. I'm kind of glad that you brought that up in regards to, you being that other friend and acknowledging what's going on in that person's life, because at the end of the day, that issue is important to them. Yeah. And if they deflect it, it's just going to push it back.
And I'm bringing it right back around. Okay, what is going on with you?
And deny it. Like, you can't deny or discredit the situation at hand, because it's not going to help that individual whatsoever.
Which, even on the flip side of that, it is important to please let someone know, because how can we help if we don't know? And a lot of times I see people, they so strung out on the situation and they so focused, like deer to a headlight, because they can't fathom, like, man, how I'm supposed to do this? How can I get this done? Like, man, I'm on a timeline. But the more people you let know that you can, quote unquote, trust, and that it won't go outside of what's going on, they can help relieve some of that anxiety and stress and fear that you're willingly to gravitate to and just hang on to, that ain't doing you no good.
Right. That's true. That is very true. Another response that we just talked about was deception. So people can try to deceive you. You can even try to deceive yourself, thinking that the situation isn't what it really is, or as big as it is, or that it's even a situation at all. So sometimes you just don't need to, you don't need to deceive yourself in that regards. You need to make sure that you haven't forgotten what has happened. You have to really accept what it is, accept the situation for what it is. And you have to forcefully make it your
duty.
Yes, make it your duty to get on with the situation and deal with it head on. Don't deceive yourself into thinking that nothing is there, that nothing is happening. You have to make sure that you accept whatever is going on as the truth. It is what it is. Because deceiving yourself into not thinking that the situation even exists as a part of your process only continues to delay it. We're going to always go back to the delay, because these things eventually cause a delay upon your process.
Exactly.
You got to process the process. You've got to go through the process, and deceiving yourself into thinking that there is no process, and that, I'm good. Just like you said earlier, I'm good. Somebody, how you doing? I'm good. I'm fine. Highly blessed of the Lord. And, all this other stuff. And I'm not saying nothing is wrong with that, but let's kind of be honest. Let's be honest about, how am I doing?
You know what'd be funny?
What?
I go along with what they tell me. And then some days later, they'll come around and tell me. So I'll be like, "Oh, you good? Okay, cool."
You just know to pray.
You know the person. You've been around a person so long, you know when they good. You know when they're not good. Mm-hmm. You just know. Like, I can see it in your face, your energy, your body language. Like you're not as in the conversation as you normally are. You're not as joyful. You're just, I'm straight, fam. I'm good.
But people do this so much because we don't want people to know really what's going on with this. And not to say that you got to tell everybody your business,
right?
But don't deceive yourself. The most important person that I'm talking to is the person that's going through the process. Exactly. Don't deceive yourself into thinking that if I just act like it's not there, that it's gonna go away. That's a misconception. Is that, oh yeah, if I don't deal with it, it's gonna go away. And I wasn't gonna say this, but I'm gonna say this anyway.
Go ahead, Pastor.
I'm gonna say this anyway. What I tend to see with men, men do this a lot. Men just act like it ain't there, like the problem is not there. And I've got cousins, I got brothers, I've been married more than once. I've got friends, people I consider as brothers, bros, brohams, whatever. And I've seen a lot of guys go through stuff and act like stuff is normal when they're really not okay, because they're not willing to deal with a problem or an issue. And all that does is add more problems and more issues because you haven't dealt with the issue.
And then that says that I don't want to change. This is me. This is who I am.
Right.
Either like it, leave it, like it, take it or leave it.
Yeah, so don't deceive yourself, people. I'm not saying that it's only men that deal with this, but I just brought that up because many times, like,
most men don't like
a lot of men don't like to talk about the problem. And women, we talk. We gonna talk.
I just want to tell you, I graduated because
you grandma pudding.
Listen, baby, I'm kind of I'm like, it's like Tyler Perry Medea. Just randomly get them.
Oh my goodness.
But like for me, like I could truly relate because I didn't used to like to talk about anything, and it's not that I really couldn't trust anybody. It had to deal with trust issues. Because I'm just like, if I'm seeing you like this with this other person, and then you coming over here, you just like, you telling me what's going on,
right? I
know you gonna tell people stuff about my business, right? So it's just, and that's a huge fear factor. But now I'm to the point like, no, we finna talk about this. Like it will literally get on my nerves if we don't talk about this, because I'm a person that like, look, I like to take stuff head on now and nip it in the bud, because I don't like that lingering feeling, stretching out all day.
Yeah,
I don't want to talk about it. I was, cool. I guess we'll talk later in my head.
Right.
As bad as I'm gonna talk now.
You said in your head.
And yeah, because you have to respect that individual's wishes.
True.
Like, at the end of the day,
this is true.
Even if you don't agree with it,
you just gotta pray at that point and ask God to allow them to want to come to you.
That's my one-liner. Lord, you just deal with them. And I go by my business.
They got it.
And I promise you, it worked every time because one, I'm intentional and genuine about it, and two, I really want this situation to be resolved.
Right, exactly. I'm with you on that. I'm like,
Lord, deal with them, Lord. I can't. I can't.
Now we're going to talk about dividing.
Ooh.
Like, we want to deal with the issues, deal with the issue at hand. And when you begin to divide stuff, you end up not fixing the whole situation. You want to keep all lines of communication open, and you want to make sure that as you are keeping those lines of communication open, that you're dealing with the whole issue at hand. So if you're going through a process, you don't want to say, oh, I just choose to deal with just this part right here of it. I want to deal with everything else. Like, no.
You know what they call that too?
What?
Compartmentalizing.
True. Now, some people can only compartmentalize to deal with one thing at a time, and I know people like that.
Which is necessary.
Yes, it can be.
On a good, it's both. It can
pros
be good
and cons.
And bad. Yeah,
okay.
it's pros and cons. Yeah, definitely.
So I definitely, because I want to say, like, for me, sometimes that's how I learn. I got to compartmentalize things so I could get this here and then get this. But before that happens, I need to know the overall, what do I want the end result to be?
Exactly.
And then I compartmentalize. So in that state of dividing, that is healthy. I not just because I do it, but I think that, you know, however you process, if you are a person that has the process that way, that's healthy.
Yeah.
But it's unhealthy if you're only choosing to compartmentalize and only getting that one thing out of it and forgetting the rest of it.
I used to be bad. I used to be bad at that. I used to just like want to compartmentalize in my bed and just close out to the world. Why is it the bed is the first place you resort to?
Exactly.
And when you just want to mope and sulk and just be like, listen, I just want to feel. I want to throw a pity party for myself. I want to just lay down, take a nap, and you hope that the situation is not there. You just hope you slept it away. And it's like, no.
I think that we just
you put it on pause.
I want to say that I've done the same thing too. I've just like don't want to deal with compartmentalize. Okay, let me think of one thing and then I'm asleep. Next thing you know, in the bed, and that's not healthy because the day went away.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's not good at all.
That's not good.
But anywho, y'all, this has definitely been, you know, a really helpful topic for both of us, and hopefully the processing the process is helping you guys too. What we're gonna do at this time is we're gonna get into our artist spotlight of the day, and this is gonna be King Allico and his song called "Long Way Shouting," and this is about, you know, a process too.
We come a long way.
We come a long way. So let's go ahead and get into a little bit of this King Allico with Long Way Shouting.
Get in my groove, do what I do, into the booth, yeah, I'm on the thing, so they chase the bread, yeah. But I took the long way, I took the long way. They say, hey, bro, this the shortcut, that's the wrong way. Where you going, baby? He buzzing moves and don't be knowing, baby. I put my trust in God, cause he be knowing, baby. Really about what he say, he bout it, he be showing, baby. SMH, I'm with you, I know it's crazy to me, so to you, I can only imagine. Life it got crazy, the chaos, the havoc. It knew what I wanted, it wouldn't let me have it. It made me a savage, I slayed the dragon. I done came a long way, long way, long way, long way, long way, long way. Shout it, long way, long way, long way, long way, long way. Shout it. Look at me then, look at me now. I came a long way. Shout it, trusted in God, he held me down. I took the long way. Shout it, shout it. You heard of the bottom, yeah? Well, I come from the bottom of that. To see you succeed, the people around you, they got a problem with that. Problem with love, a problem with loyalty, problem with facts. Now you just gotta figure out who gon' stab you in the front if they say they got your back. They been acting funny, you know that it coming, you just gotta watch them. They ain't been acting They plot to demise, don't want you to thrive, they itching to stop. They ain't stressed about you making it to the top. They just stressed about you staying up on that hill. They just wanna see you fall out, Jack and Jill. Out of my mind, I'm wasting my time, yeah, that's what they say, yeah. When after my dream, they wanted the cream, so they chased the bread, yeah. But I took the long way, I took the long way. They say, hey, bro, this the shortcut, that's the wrong way. Where you going, baby? Long way, long way, long way, shout it. Long way, long way, long way, shout it. Long way, shout it. Long way, shout it. Long way, long way, long way, long way, long way, shout it. Long way, long way, long way, long way, long way, shout it. Look at me then, look at me now. I came a long way, shout it. Trusted in God, he held me down. I took the long way, shout it. Long way, long way, long way, long way, long way, shout it. Long way, long way, long way, long way, long way, shout it. Look at me then, look at me now. I came a long way, shout it.
Yeah. Long way, shot it. Hey, long way, shot it.
I can't touch it, baby. Long way, shot it. It's about it. Long way, shot it. Look at me there. Let me not. Long way, shot it.
Wow. Well, I think y'all know the name of the song, right? It's Long Way, Shawty.
Long way.
By King Allico.
He didn't take the shortcut.
No, he didn't take the shortcut.
He took the long way.
He took the long way, shawty. That's what he did. That's right. That's what he said. And so I really like that song because I really think that it talks about, you know, the process and him not going the way that he said that other people thought he should go, you know. And sometimes, you know, sometimes people wrong. Taking a shortcut is not always the best route. You know what I'm saying? Some people can take shortcuts and it work out for them, but you got to go through your process. Yeah, you got to go through
no shortcuts because
you got to go.
Like I would be cut short in myself.
That's a good way to look at it.
Hey, listen, I'm already short. Shouted.
Oh my goodness, I can't with you. I cannot with you. I cannot with you. Y'all don't even listen. Well, listen to him, but don't listen to him. Okay. Anywho, we are going to get back into our pink elephant and we're talking about process in the process.
Yes.
And we left off on, you know, dividing things in regards that don't allow us to really process things and keeping all lines of communication open. Even when it comes to ourselves, being authentic and open with ourselves.
Facts. And
we got to find ways to get to a place to where if you are dividing something, if you are compartmentalizing things, that you can eventually get to every spot in the process to make sure that you are whole. Now, the next one is dosify. And when... I ain't even gonna front. When I first heard that word, I was like, what the heck dosify mean?
I don't know. I almost made a song out of it, though. Dosify. Just dosify.
And so I had to think about, well, not just think about it, but, you know, I had to look at, you know, the context in which what the writers were talking about when they were, who was it from the Community Toolbox, when they were talking about dosify. And they were saying that the response to dosifying is sticking to the topic, which would mean the opposite would be not sticking to the topic, right? So when people just try to kind of not stick to the topic at hand, you know, that is dosifying. And it's important that if you are trying to always find something else in the process instead of
an alternative, right?
An alternative or a detour, like you said. No, let's stick to the topic at hand. Let's deal with it right here,
right now.
So if you are that person that you're just like, I want to find something else to talk about, then you know, then you're dosifying, and we don't want you to do that. We don't want us to do that. We want to stick to the topic at hand. Don't try to find something else wrong. You know, it's kind of like a person who, if I were to come to you and be like, brother, hey, you know, what you said today on the podcast was wrong. You know, that didn't make no sense at all. And then you come back and you say, but you know what, Kiki, remember when we was on the other episode and you had said
that ain't got nothing to do with this episode.
Nothing to do with this episode. So you would be dosified. And so we don't want people to do that. And I think in our lives, we do that. I can definitely say being a married person, that has definitely been something that I have done many times. And I've literally just, like, my husband would say, like, hey, this ain't even what I'm talking about. Like, I'm telling you about what you doing and you telling me about what I'm doing. Like, why don't you stick to what it is that I'm telling you and deal with it instead of trying to dosify. Which, of course, he didn't use that word. But we got to be intentional about dealing with our stuff, right? About not going around the corner, down the street, up the hill to the peak, then and then in the valley, and then round the corner by Ray and them house, and then you'll see it on the side of the road.
House, then you talking about
yeah, and see it on the side of the road, and it's in the yellow box in the corner behind the tent.
That's a lot of traffic. I'm tired.
You tired?
I'm tired.
Just from mentally going there, right?
I'm drained. Look here, I'm tired. I'm 87 years old. I ain't got no business doing all that traffic.
Oh my goodness. And another thing that we can't do is we can't discredit. So if you're trying to discredit, the process, it's kind of like you would handle it the same way that you would handle deception, basically. When you're trying to deceive yourself, you try to make something look bad or make it worse than what it is, or whatever the case may be in this regards. You don't want to discredit. You don't want to discredit and just try to make it seem like your process isn't that important, because it is.
It is.
You got to get through the process. You don't want to discredit that.
It's vital.
I think that also when we discredit things, really what we're saying to ourselves in our own process, when we're discrediting our own process, is saying it's not worth it. And if you're going to say it's not worth it, then what's the purpose of you going through the process anyway? Like, why are you even in a space to be in the process if it wasn't worth it?
And to me, you're telling me that you're not worth it.
That's true. That's true.
You're really denying yourself and cheating yourself.
It doesn't feel good. It's kind of like someone telling you that, hey, you know, everything you did for me don't mean nothing. And now you as the receiving party has to deal with being discredited. And that doesn't feel good.
No.
And we do that to our processes where we're just like, okay, we know this happened, but who cares? You know, that don't mean nothing. It does mean something. These things have happened to us for us to get a lesson out of it.
Exactly.
So we got to embrace the process and not discredit the fact that we've got to go through this part of the process. Another thing that we talked about earlier was destroying.
Yes.
Destroying. And when you try to destroy the process, it's not good at all.
You destroy yourself in the process.
Yes. When you're trying to destroy the process because you just don't want it to be there, that it's not going to help. It's just none of these things are going to help, but we're talking about different things that can, you know, that you possibly would do to kind of buck your process, and destroying the process does not help you whatsoever. You got to make sure that your response in dealing with your process is swift and intentional.
Very
intentional. Be intentional about completing your process, regardless of how long it takes. And so I think that you just got to recognize that if you are trying to destroy something that was meant to be there, you're going to have to take that test all over again, like you was talking about earlier.
Once again.
You destroy the process, so you're going to have to do it, repeat it all over again.
And even the little things that you did learn, all of that is collateral damage.
Because guess what? The next time that you have to take it again, you might not have the same variables. Now something else might come up in the process.
It's gonna be twice as hard now.
It is very true. Very true. Don't destroy your process.
Please.
Embrace.
Salvage it.
The process. Embrace it. And the last thing that we've kind of been talking about is really just dealing with the process, right? Dealing with it head on. Negotiate if you have to. Negotiate with yourself to say, okay, right now, this is how much of it I can handle. Let me just try to deal with this part first, and then let me come back to this right here. But don't try to get away from it. Exactly. Deal with the process. And I think that if we do that, I think that we would be a whole lot better in our lives. But because we're dealing with so many different things at one time. We don't know where we at in the process of different stuff.
And embracing the process of anything is very vital and important, especially within tough lessons.
I agree.
That we have to hit head on. There's no deterring. There's no going around. There's no shortcuts. There's literally, here I am in your face. What you gonna do about it?
Mm-hmm. Embrace the process. Mm-hmm. Embrace it. And the processes that I'm going through right now, man, I don't wish them on nobody. But you just gotta embrace where you're at one day at a time. And that's how you have to look at all of your processes, is not to just be like, okay, this is what I'm going to do in my process. No, you take this one day at a time in whatever area in life it is.
Yes.
You're one step closer to bettering yourself in that process. And that's, I think, what we need to do as people to help us navigate through life.
You know what? Let's take it a little, before we head out, let's take it a little deeper.
Okay.
Because, we're talking about dealing with. Okay, how do we deal with it? Okay, well, what is your little getaway? What do you love to do that brings you peace, that brings positivity to your space of where you at, how you feeling, that can kind of take you away from it for a little bit. So whether that's praying, whether that's reading, whether that is meditating, whether that is
journaling,
writing out. Now, that is very therapeutic.
It is.
I promise you, writing out what's going on so you can like really visually see it, because now you're out of your head. Like, you're always in your head like, this did not happen. So you'll be going back and forth with that. This is like, no, this is not happening. So like, whether it's reading, meditating, praying, whether it's going out for a walk, whether it's journaling, whether it's, playing a sport that you like to. One thing I've noticed that's very therapeutic is playing tennis. Like, just the relaxation you get from just being outside, just embracing the environment, just like even just hitting the ball, just like everything. It was just like, man, this is, I've never known this could be therapeutic. I was like,
I played tennis, and once you get that arm going, then you good. But in the beginning, it's just like, man, my arm hurt.
Well, and it's also doing it the right way, because
True.
I did it the wrong way too, and my arm was hurting a little bit.
Don't hurt yourself.
But I didn't, because I had a great teacher, so I actually did well. And I was like, man, this is relaxing in a sense. This feels good. It's just like, it's freeing. So whatever brings that peace, that freeing experience to you, that is within legal rights.
Right.
That is within responsible.
Right.
I need to put that out there.
Yes.
Responsible.
We want to do what we need to do properly.
Exactly. Properly.
Yes.
Like,
I would agree. I think that before we head out, I'm glad that you have brought that up before we headed out, because people need to know practically like some things that they can do to get through that process. And you gave some great nuggets in regards to the things that you can do. So I am, I would totally 100% agree with the journaling, because that definitely has helped me get through some things. You do feel free. And walking, that different type of things, those things do help. So I 100% agree. I think that this, not only as, even when I go back to listen to this, I'm going to have to go back and listen to this probably more than once to help me continue and help me through my processes. And I hope that is helping everybody else too. Yes, being consistent with it as well.
That's key.
So before we get out of here. Before we get out of here, B1, that was our pink elephant of the day. I want us, to go ahead and give our handles before we get out of here. Can you go ahead and let the people know what your handles are? Okay.
My handles are...
Come Kermit.
Twitter. Hello, Miss Piggy.
That's what my family used to call me, for real, for real.
What?
I'm so serious.
I never knew that.
Yes.
See, there's another layer of peel back. Okay, my Twitter and Instagram, official B1, BWONDA, Facebook.com/official Boy Wonder, BOYWONDA. NoGrindNoGlory.net. You can get the merch, CDs, all that good stuff, videos. YouTube.com/NoGrindNoGlory. And make sure that you get the new single, Gutter the Glory, which is out now. You can stream it, add it to your playlist, and you can purchase it from Apple, Google Play, everywhere music is sold.
Amen, amen, amen. And the church said amen. And you can make sure that you are subscribed to the Life Out Loud podcast, LOL with Kiki Simone, on YouTube. Make sure that you are subscribed. Listen, like, and subscribe today.
Facts.
Also, we want you to go ahead and follow us on IG. That's LOL with Kiki Simone, QUISYMONE. Also on Facebook, Kiki Simone, QUISYMONE. And if you want to follow me personally on Instagram, you can just go to Kiki Simone.
And you know this, man.
We hope that something that we said was a seed that was planted, that you guys can continue to listen to help you in your everyday life, real issues,
Facts.
Perspectives, and real solutions. So until next time, we are out of here.
Deuces.
I know you want it, you looking for it. I know who got it. She talk about it in every EP, leave you Don't nobody ever be on what she be on.